All right. Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, May 20th. We're taking a look at NASDAQ, NQ, trend day move yesterday. Nice push off of the 21,150 level of interest. You had a full push into that 21,500 near term range high. NASDAQ has been trading within a near term range for about 4 days now, potentially 5 days, if today stays within the prior day's range. For this morning, I want to see how price is going to be responding to the 21,500 level of interest. That'll give us a pretty good idea about whether or not buyers are going to be able to trigger the breakout here, or if price is just going to continue to trade within this near term range. So, pretty straightforward focus for this morning. As far as the economic calendar today, it's just Fed speak. It's a pretty slow week as far as economic data is concerned. We also have a 3-day weekend coming up. Memorial Day is on Monday. Take a look at the overnight action. You do have some weakness there overnight. So we'll be looking at a most likely a very slight gap lower. Overnight action showed a little blip up above the prior day high. Seller step in, VWAP respected. Now we just see that price is, for the most part, kind of in this sideways range all morning. Yeah, all morning. That's from about 9:30, 10 p.m. last night. Here's your RTH chart. A little bit of a better visual of the near-term structure. I love that RTH chart right through there. So a lot of compression. Yesterday, technically the session was an expansion move, but it's still within the near-term structure. So not really a true expansion move as far as the near-term structure is concerned. Okay, let's jump over to ES, take a look at the old S&P. 59.75, keeping a lid on price there, and in ES for the overnight sesh. That'll be a key watch if you like to trade ES. Overall, though, the structure is pretty similar there in ES. Let's see that 15-minute. Yeah, ES actually a little bit stronger. A little bit stronger because you had that fresh high on Friday. And then yesterday, there's just another higher low right there. So here's a gap, higher low, higher low, higher low. It's been a tough past couple of weeks for shorts. Been a tough past couple of weeks for sellers. That's why context and market structure, backdrop, things like that can be so helpful just to make sure you're not off sides. So, man, look at this ES. It's just been push, push. I would not want to be a seller. Not too far off of all-time highs there. 4%. 4% from all-time highs. Wild. 4%. It was just like 3 weeks ago. You had people thinking the world was ending down here. Every time. Every time there's a pullback, it's all over, and then you get a bounce, and it's like, oh no, it's all right. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. All right, let's see this open. We got about 2 minutes. NASDAQ coming into 21,400 here. Got the overnight low right in that area. So, given the rejection of the near term range high, 400 is not my favorite level personally. So, just because it is near the upper portion of the near term range, I'd rather see 300. But let's see what happens here near the low, near the overnight low, that is. About 90 seconds till the open. Overnight low is 393. 1 minute till the open. Here we go. One minute. There's your open. There's the open for you. So 400 stays on watch. Session volume point and controls right there at 431. How's volume looking? Volume's decent off the open there. Okay. Small gap lower. Little baby gap lower. NQ coming into that 400 again. You got ES and No Man's Land. Russell sitting on VWAP. YM right near VWAP as well. NQ right back in a session volume point of control. It's actually a pretty slow open here. There's your new high of day. Volume falling off yet again. Getting into that summer trading, that slow summer trading. There's your opening 5-minute bar. 30-point range to start the morning here. Let's see if we get a crack at 400. Almost in there. New low of day, 402.5. A little uptick in volume. That's better. See if those overnight lows are going to be swept. A little overnight low sweeper. Now, if that overnight low fails, probably looking at 300. What is the fib from yesterday, I wonder? The old prior day fib. So you got that buy zone kind of in the middle of nowhere there. Prefer when that buy zone aligns with something else, some other reference point or a level of interest. Personally. New low of day. See that overnight low. 393.75. You got ES into the lows. Pretty much everything's into the lows here. Market wide. Session volume point of control still right here at 430. How's that profile looking? Oh, that thing's not going to move for a while. What's the current high? 436. Okay, right there. NQ, technically a new high of day. It's not bad. Probably get the trail. There's the trail. Choppy, choppy, choppy. New low of day incoming. Probably be done with the 400 now. I don't love the location of that level. Still in the upper portion of the near-term range here. After 500 rejected. I don't love being a buyer at the first level of interest within a range after one edge has been rejected. Rather grab this, or ideally like the 150 if price gets down there. So tried the 400, limited follow through. Let these next tests a 400. Let someone else trade those. That's not my play. Opening 15-minute bar closes in 2.5 minutes. Currently shaped like a doji. See how it closes. As of right now, we have about a 40-point range. 40 or 50-point range on the sesh. Very low volume. 5 minute already showing barcode. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. A lot of churn. A lot of churn. I'm waiting for this structure to break before I get any other trade put on. Like I said, we tried it. We tried it. Didn't have the follow through I wanted. So let that structure build. Location, like I said, not the best. You have a level of interest, but based on the higher time frame structure. That's how I look at it anyway. Patience send me start trying new things and trading against the plan. Yeah, spot on. Spot on. Never diddle in the middle. Oh man. There you go. There's your new low of day. Not surprised to see that right there. See if 300 trades. Give us that 300 level of interest. $350 already. That was fast. That was pretty fast. This is exactly why this action right here is exactly why I didn't grab that third test of the 400. Those first couple attempts didn't show follow through. What is price telling you? What is it saying? See if we got into that 50% fib yet. Yeah, that's the buy zone. Buy zone here from prior to action. Shame that it's on its own. As of right now, pretty much cash till 10 a.m. after those first couple of attempts this morning. Look at the volume that came in on that break. ES down into 59.50 level of interest. With the overnight low right in this area as well. What is that level? Looks like 55.25. NQ back into the lows. Again, downside level is 300. There's your new low of day. Nice push. Nice push. Actually, I opted for the ES there. Tighten up those trails. Right below 5.9 if they want it. They could have it. I like the ES at the level of interest. That was beautiful. Lift it a little bit here. 5.95. Just beneath 60. I'll go just beneath 61 on the ES trail. No, I said it before. Rewind the tape, Dom. Set ES into 59.50 with the overnight low right there. Trail into 63. ES coming into VWAP. And we're trailing at 64. Let them have it right here. 10 points. Wow. I didn't even take the trail. All right. There's a nice morning. And there's the trail. Not bad. Clean 10 points on ES. The idea right there. Oh, an intraday reversal versus a level of interest. And you have the overnight low right through there as well on increasing volume. Now, on top of that, what do we have? What do we have right there at the low? A little spring. Little spring. You technically had the same setup in NQ, but the key difference here is that ES is actually sitting against the level of interest. So I gotta go. I gotta go with the superior location. All right, we're back to NQ focus. Back to NQ. So we're up near session highs. 400 remains on watch. And about 4 minutes till 10 a.m. Nicole, you got that ES trade? Nicely done. Nicely done. That was delightful. NQ does not look like a new high of day was made on this bounce. How are we doing for time? 2.5 minutes till 10 a.m. NQ getting back into that key zone here, 400 overnight low area. What's our session high? 440-ish? So far there's still a inside day here. Inside day. And 1 minute till 10 a.m. No interest at the 400. NQ is rolling over. ES, a nice rejection at VWAP there. THG framework, 2 hour trader framework. 5 minutes, not all that compelling. There's 10 a.m. No data or anything, but always a noteworthy time frame, nonetheless. Rejection of the underside of 400 so far. With that 15 minute. Let's check our hourly. Yeah, still in that upper portion of the range being rejected. Tricky spot. Tricky. Now just some churn here near the key level. See how this little microstructure resolves. Buyers are looking for that higher low right here. Given that it is near the upper portion of the range, that's the main concern. Not the best spot. And that ES setup was beautiful. Worth documenting if you're into recording high quality setups. I'd take a look at that one, that ES. So looking at the 5 minute here, again, the action is just not all that compelling. In the middle of the prior day's range. And a 5 minute, I mean, it's from a structural standpoint, it's just sideways. Sideways. So caution definitely warranted. How's our profile looking? Yeah, that thing is not moving anytime soon. It's like a wall there at 430. Higher low looks a little better, but volume. Don't love it. Don't love it. Was that news any earlier anyways on that bounce or just ES at the key level? No news, Dave? Yeah, that's what I figured. That's what I figured. Let me check my feeds really quick. Let's see. Looks like that higher low failed. See if we actually get the move into 300. I would love that. What time was that? 9:51. Yeah, no news. No noodles. NASDAQ coming into no man's land. Lower high there at 400. Sellers can flush the low. Should be pretty quick into 300. Right down here. Although with this current volume, RTY on its own into session highs there. YM rejecting VWAP. ES rejecting VWAP again. NASDAQ right back into session lows. A little uptick in volume for you. Location still no man's land. Got ES back into the overnight low. Not a ton to do here. Not a ton to do here. Sit patient. Dom grabbed the 400 reject. I would guess probably right around here. 1006, 1007ish. Nice. Yeah, they look good. Yep. Good spot for it, especially with the current structure. Yep. If you're gonna be short in a bullish backdrop, that's the way to do it right there, if you ask me. Waiting for 300, Ray. Yeah, I like 300 or some favorable structure up above the 400. Whether or not that actually comes, we shall see. You can also keep an eye on the ES, a little bit of a intraday range building out. Got YM rejected VWAP down into overnight low. Russell just on its own. Session highs over at the RTY. NQ retest overnight low. Volume still just non-existent. Well below average. Average at this time of day about 1.2K per 1 minute bar. Currently about 750 per 1 minute bar. So give ES another little try right there. Higher low at the overnight low. Liking the action in ES. You too, Ray? Nice. Trail this a little tighter. And there's NQ back in a 400. I'll trail this at 5.8. Too late for the overnight low structure. Spring would be a little bit cleaner with the level of interest for sure. So I don't blame you. I'll get trailed out right here. There's the trail. Add a couple points on the day there. ES. NQ just coiling here. Coil, coil, coil. Makes it a little tough is backdrop is bullish, bullish, but location within the higher time frame structure. And we're gonna say there's a near-term range. If we're saying this morning's action is a rejection of the near-term range, well, you're still in like the upper quadrant of the near-term range. That's what makes the action a little sloppier today, or at least this morning. Higher time frame developments will help. We'll see how this next 30-minute bar closes up. This looks a little better here. Looks like that ES trail is a bit premature. It's all good though. Given the action, I'd rather just lock it in. I'd rather just lock that thing in, you know? A break of this most recent lower high right here would be significant for the intraday structure. I'll see if it happens. 415-ish. Let's see. Let's see. All right, looks a little better there. A little bit better, a little bit cleaner. Yeah, buyers actually showing up. No position personally. ES back in a VWAP. That'll be your target for the overnight low. Long setup. Very nice push on the ES. And the S&P. Look at that volume that came in. Pretty choppy. Pretty choppy. What's our intraday range? We're talking about 80 points. Not even 100 points on NASDAQ. We are almost an hour into the day. 80-point range, 1 hour into the day. No new high of day. Back in a 400. Yeah, I wouldn't really be slapping the 400 here personally. I would like to see a new high of day. I want to see buyers break this kind of area of resistance here. I think we're at session volume point of control there. Yeah, it's still kind of in that area. It did shift lower down into 411. But a new high of day and then a retest of 400 be a better scenario to watch for. But again, my main concern right now is location within the higher time frame structure. Been burned plenty of times trying those longs when the upper portion of a near term range is being rejected. It's kind of the thought process. $400 holding. Can we get the new high of day? Can we get the new high? Homemade sourdough? That sounds good. Oh, homemade sourdough? Some Canadian maple syrup on it? Oh, man. Jeez. Ray's living. Ray is living. ES back in overnight low. We got a lot of chop. Maybe time to call it here shortly. Give it a few more minutes. NQ. I have no interest in touching this until we see this intraday structure actually break. So pretty much edge points right through here. Yes, we have a level of interest at 400, but based on higher time frame structure and intraday structure, it's not a level I want to set risk against. Not a level I want to set risk against. Love to see 300. Same. Same. That may be an afternoon trade, though, based on current action, late morning or afternoon. How's everyone's morning? How we doing? How's it looking? Surviving in the chop, hopefully. Cash one and done. 2 for 2. Final short. 3 for 4. That's pretty good. Pretty good. That's good to see. It's good to see. This choppiness can burn. cash? Chrissy is cash? Wow. That man's turning over a new leaf. What the hell? What the? No shotties cash. Said he's cash. Said he's cash, man. Oh my god, dude. That doesn't count, man. Cash on a brand new combine. Oh god. Jeez, man. You guys are something else. No signals here, Voodoo. Wrong stream if you want signals. Don't do signals. Never will do signals. Yeah, if you want to actually learn how to trade, community is a good spot to do that. But if you just want signals, this is not going to be the community for you. If you just want signals, just wait for the bot to come out. Waitlist should be live soon for the 2-hour trader framework bot. And that should be live this summer. THT bot, full automation. So you don't have to worry about signals. It's done for you. Why don't I do it? I don't want people tailing my trades. It's not good. It goes against the goal of the entire group. The goal is to teach people how to trade. So if you just want to follow someone else's trades, then there are thousands of those out there. Go ahead. I don't think you'll be long-term profitable chasing someone else's trades. But if that's your deal, that's what you want to do, go for it. Some of my trades are like 30 seconds too. You're going to tell me that you can execute as fast as me? You're going to tell me you have the same risk tolerance as me? You're going to tell me you have conviction in an alert if a trade is in drawdown? I don't think so. Plus, there actually was like a year or two we did swing trade alerts. And the amount of messages that I got, NQ new high of day, by the way, the amount of messages you get when you put a trade idea out there, I'm good. I'm good. I am absolutely good. on all that. So that's kind of the reason, does kind of the reason. D Wall got the long at 400. Let's go, man. When D Wall's bullish. Yeah, no intention to do any sort of alerts for you, Des, or anyone else. But automation is coming. That is actually something that I believe in, just based on the strategy parameters and then the back testing that we've done. So just got to make sure it's right. Got to make sure it's right before it's released. Summer, summer should be ready. And that's full hands free. There's nothing you have to do. Nothing that you have to do with automation. Yeah, the thing about trading is that, you're going to have parameters that you're going to have like foundational components of edge. But once you understand foundational components of edge, so just think of like 2 hour trader framework. Once you understand those components, then there's a lot of personal nuance that comes into it, your own preferences, things like that, that actually, in my opinion, have a very, very big impact on an individual trader's performance and their own sort of personal edge. Edge is usually going to be, once you get a few years into the game, edge is going to be a more personalized thing. So you'll retire and let the bot work for you. I mean, the bot only, right now it's only one strategy. It's the 2 hour trader framework. There are still some advantages to discretionary trading that you can't code. You can't automate. So I don't know if I'll ever stop actually trading, but you can kind of get the like, for example, some strategies or some entries that you take, you may be able to discretionarily say the signal is close enough to what I want to see. If you try and automate that, there's just no way. There's no way to do that. There's no way to kind of to code in like a close enough, or yeah, this is almost there. If a signal is kind of like 85% of the way there, you can use your experience to say, yeah, it's close enough. I'm going to take a trade here. A bot will never be able to do that. So there are some disadvantages to automation. Pros and cons. Pros and cons. All right, so let's see. NQ session highs. We're up in a 440. Can we get another trade off here in the next 15 minutes or so? See if the highs hold. What's ES doing? ES session highs as well. Yeah, Russell still on its own. That thing's up in a prior day high, coming into overnight high. So about half hour ago, we talked about NQ coiling, series of lower highs, right? Higher lows. Some will call that a wedge, and it resolves higher. It's in alignment with the bullish backdrop. And notably, sellers unable to really flush that 400 level in a significant way. Here's your structure. Pretty interesting. So anytime you have that range and some of the upper quadrant levels of interest are holding, what does that tell you about buyers? Yeah, 2 hour trader framework's a great place to start. Great place to start. NQ, NQ, NQ. Prior day volume point of control right up there, 465. Not a lot to do here still, personally. Two-hour 2 hour trader framework. Turn my trading around for the good. Russell, there we go. Love it. So back into this kind of morning range here from pre-market. NQ 30-minute through that prior bar high. Volume just terrible. Terrible volume. Let's see the 5-minute gap fills up into what is that, 488-ish. So look how the buy zone held from yesterday. Just shows you the strength of buyers in this tape right now. Standing on that prior day buy zone. There it is. No position here personally. So what I'm gonna look for late morning, early afternoon. Any retest down into 400 will be noteworthy. But I want to see if price is gonna give us a push into 500 or prior day high. I need some level before I can put on any other trade. And right here, we just don't have one. You got VWAP right there, but not really an extension move above VWAP. So likely going to be cash for a while longer. Best plays today on my end were in the ES, those two long setups versus that 59.50 level of interest, and then the overnight low long trailed a little too early there, but given the information we had at the time, I was happy with that decision. So, and then of course the spring, the little initial 400 test in NQ, pretty solid. I think we call right there. Thank you guys for your time. We'll keep it going in the think tank here, but again, pretty low expectations for the remainder of the session. Not a big fan of just the repeated inside day, right? So there's a true inside day and still a very, very tight range. I mean, we're almost 90 minutes into the session, and the session low to high range is 95 points. I don't know if you guys remember, like 3 weeks ago, we were doing 95 points in about 30 seconds. So it is choppier, objectively speaking. Got to manage accordingly. Don't really want to overdo it. I expect the summer to largely be like this, right? There will, of course, be some exceptions, things like NFP, CPI, FOMC, all the typical big prints, but market is definitely, we're in a seasonally slow period. So just keep that in mind. White House press release just now? I mean, in general. Yeah, you can always keep an eye on those. On the Trump tape bombs, always something to watch there. But a lot of the trade chatter that we had, I think a lot of that stuff is like with all the volatility before back in this period, this is like when there's uncertainty and headlines are flying and there's not a lot of clarity, but we're on kind of the backside of that now, if you ask me. There's more clarity on trade. So toss that into your news category to get things moving. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Something off the cuff can definitely shake things up. That is accurate. All right, folks. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow morning. We will be live again tomorrow morning. Take care.